my YouTube channel. So once you are done on the live, you can find this contact profile. Do make note that this content will also be loaded onto content on my YouTube channel. You can just go on to Astro in Udabi on YouTube, click the subscribe button, and you'll find the latest podcast, which is all about the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which is the last eclipse that is hitting the Aries and Libra string of eclipses in the Libra Aries axis. So if you look at Aries and Libra, these are cardinal signs. And if you look at where the sun is, it's obviously sitting in Aries. We've got the moon in Aries. We've got a Venus retrograde. We've got a Mercury retrograde. So the Venus retrograde in Pisces, which happens on the 26th, which already happened today. Venus retrogrades into Pisces. That's a big move. That's a big transit. We've got Mercury retrograding already from the 15th of March. We've got Mars that is trining Saturn in Pisces on the 31st of March. We've got Saturn in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus. There's a huge sextile going on there. What does this all mean in the skies, and how does this energy impact all forms of life? I'm going to break it down, and I want you all to remember that astrology is basically all the planets where they are, and each planet gives off a certain kind of energy. You will never find the sun giving you rain. The sun's dharma is to give off light, heat, warmth, or whatever it is. You'll never find it giving rain. It doesn't alter its duty for anybody, regardless of your title, regardless of your money in your bank, regardless of your religion. The sun's duty remains the same. Collectively, as consciousness, collectively, we cannot alter the degree of the planet. That will tell you something, that the planets don't listen to us. We got to listen to them. And listening to them is not with your ears. Listening to them is understanding its duty. And when you understand its energy it gives off, you can apply your life in accordance. Like the sun rises, it's giving off its bright energy. You can go and hang your clothes. The sun doesn't care whether you go and hang your clothes or not. It's there. It's your choice what you do with it. Similar to what's happening in the skies now. And look, the amount of requests that I've had from Saturday, actually from Sunday till now, I'm not surprised. And the signs that are impacted with this eclipse, or this new moon eclipse that's happening, new moon solar eclipse that's happening, it's obviously the Aries, it's obviously Librans, it's Taurians, it's Aquarians, it's Pisces, it's the Piscean energy, and it's definitely Gemini and Virgo. Now, why I say Gemini and Virgo? Well, you've got your ruling planets going retrograde. So Gemini and Virgo, you both are governed by Mercury. Your ruling planets are retrograding. And when your ruling planet retrogrades, it means that you have to work twice as hard to comprehend matters. Generally, if it takes you maybe 3 calories to get up and go bath, maybe it's a lousy example. Maybe you'd find it more difficult to get up from the bed and go bath compared to a normal any other time. The ability to comprehend information becomes a bit more difficult, and it all depends where where the retrograde is happening. So you've got a Venus retrograde happening, you've got a Mercury retrograde happening, and your ruling planet always impacts the sign that it enters or the signs that it governs. So, for example, a Mercury retrograde definitely will impact all Geminis and Virgos. And a Venus retrograde will definitely impact all Taurians, Librans. Definitely. Irrespective of where the planet is retrograding in, there's an impact here. And the sign that it impacts, that sign, the ruling planet for that sign, is impacted also. So can you see that this retrograde or retrogrades and the sun, the new moon solar eclipse impacts everybody. And I'm going to talk about all sun, moon, and ascendant signs from Aries to Pisces. I'm going to give you the general report, and we're going to take it from there. So if you joined in the beginning of March, you'd have listened to my general report for all sun, moon, and ascendant signs for the month of March, and I deliberately do not discuss any of the lunar eclipses on that session or the solar eclipses on that session. Good evening, Justina, and welcome. I prefer doing a separate live on that because lunar eclipses and solar eclipses are absolutely powerful. And if you joined in on my session on the 12th of March, you would have listened to me discuss the lunar eclipse. And today we're going to discuss the solar eclipse, but there's a new moon here. So get your books and pens ready. This is going to be a bit of a lengthy session. All right, let's go for it. Now, let's begin with the first sign in the zodiac. Definitely Aries. Now, Aries, you can understand Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries. You can understand that you've been going through a Saturn in the 12th house transit from March 2023. Now, if you are a Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries, you are going through that transit, which means you are going through a period of consequence. So already you would have went through a series of events which would have forced you to grow out of the things that are no longer beneficial to you. And unfortunately, Saturn in the 12th house is a very difficult transit. You could be drinking and driving, whole life, nothing happens to you. All of a sudden, when Saturn enters your 12th house, boom, you get locked up and put in prison. Your relationship could be sour all the time, but boom, when Saturn enters the 12th house, it gets cut off. You could be eating whatever it is that you want to eat. Saturn enters the 12th house, boom, he takes you to hospital so that you can't eat that any longer. Saturn in the 12th house takes you to prison, it takes you to court, left leg, spine, eye issues. Saturn in the 12th house is a period of growth. And the planet doesn't care whether you learn the lessons or not. The planet gives you your karma. Everybody know what karma is, thought karma, emotional karma, physical karma. Everybody understands that karma is cause and effect. As you sow, so shall you get. The planet doesn't care what you do. It gives you exactly the effects of the cause. So you guys would have been going through the most difficult period in your lives from March 2023. And this is a time where thank you very much, Lorraine, and for whoever has gifted me, may your pockets always remain full. This is a time where we have started the eclipse season for Aries and Libra. And it began in 2023. And it finally ends. This is the last one now. And guess what? Saturn ends his transit in Pisces in June this year. Namaste, Radhika, and welcome. in June this year. So Saturn will enter your first house of home, physical self, aspect in the seventh house of marriage, business partnerships, looking left at the house of home, family roots, and directly opposite at the 10th house of career, honors, prestige, and award. So you're coming out of that. However, guess what? When there is a new moon, what is a new moon? Moon governs your karma. Moon stores all that information. Moon is your emotions. Dependent on moon is your subconscious mind. At night, all your feelings and emotions is governed by the moon. Moon is the feminism within you. Moon is that force within you. Think about it like this. If you look at a new moon or a full moon, you go look at the sea, the waves are very high. If the moon can pick up so much of water, imagine what it's doing to your body. That 70% water in your body, what it's doing. Water is your emotions. So therefore, during a new moon and full moon, your emotions are extremely high. If you are happy, you'll be even more happy. If you are sad, you'll be even more sad. It all depends on your state of consciousness. State of consciousness means what you're conscious to. If you are conscious to all the negative things in your life, guess what? During a full moon, those feelings are magnified. A lot of people pull their hair during a full moon, especially during uh, um, a full moon lunar eclipse. And that's what happened during on the 12th of this month. Mira, welcome. Nice to see you on the live. And we are still with Aries, so this is a good time that you have joined. So it's a very, 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 very intense period for you. Look at your relationships. Think back from 2023, your relationships with everybody. But also forget about your relationships with everybody. Look at your relationship with yourself. Why am I here? What am I here for? What is my purpose here? Was I born to just wake up, go get educated, get married, have children, earn some good money, buy a car, buy a house, have some children? That is a very boring life, Go on a couple of holidays. That's a very now for me as a sun Aquarian, life path number 7. I would feel that it's a very boring life. Why? Because I've always been in search of something greater. What is something bigger than that? Bigger than the mundane, bigger than the conditioning of how they've conditioned the world. Something bigger than that. So my state of consciousness was a certain way, and I've moved out of that. I'm not conscious to the mundane affairs anymore. I'm not conscious to how the world is doing their bit. It's called the matrix system. It's also called the material dimension, where your mental, physical, and pranic body is. Your physical body, which is a gross body, or the food body, which is your physical body that you can touch. Your mental body, which is your mind, how your mind is behaving, and your pranic body, which is your energy, where your energy going to. These are still immaterial in nature. Once you get above this year, you won't be moved much by all of these things that we're going to talk about. Therefore, it's very important to move out of the material dimension. If you are stuck in there, it means that your focus in life is in mundane affairs. Go study, get good grades, buy a nice house, buy a nice car, get married, have children, blah, 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 blah. There's obviously pain and suffering in the state of consciousness. As much as we don't want to hear this, it's very comforting to live in a state of illusion. It's very comfortable to live in Maya, illusion, in misery, in that illusion. It's very discomforting to accept reality. It's very discomforting to accept truth, because truth pulls that rug under our feet. Truth makes us, it ruins our ego, it breaks our ego, how we've been living a certain way, and we are a product of our own lives. We are a product of our own thinking. We are a product of our own words. Wherever we are right now, I am accountable fully of where I am right now. I should not blame my mother, my father, my granny, my grandfather. I should not blame anybody for where I am in my life right now. This is accountability. If you don't have that accountability in your life as a person, and if you are a person that is blaming everybody else for where you're at, you've got a problem. And this new moon solar eclipse is going to boom bang you a lot. Where it will boom bang you in a state of emotions. Emotions will be impacted, and this will impact all sun, moon, and Aries. In fact, this is everybody. This kind of accountability you must have in your life. A lot of people tell me, Abhi, you've got everything in life, you are quite fine. For those of you that know me, no, it wasn't like that. It takes a lot of discipline, consistency, resilience, dedication. It's an every moment thing to get there. It's not a 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year thing. It's an everyday thing. It's sacrifice. While you're busy sleeping, I'm busy doing my bits. For those of you who are close to me, you'll know that I hardly ever sleep. I'm busy working. Why? Because I'm passionate about what I do. Well, I'm not asking you to do that, but guess what? That's how the universe works. The universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you what you are. So you are consistent, if you are resilient, if you are passionate, if you are dedicated, if you are positive in nature, the universe will reward you with everything exactly. The universe will give you exactly what you are. And I don't make the rules of how the universe works. I'm just working with how the universe works. If you tell somebody this year, they're like, ah, whatever. And that same attitude will always land you in emotional trouble. Emotional trouble will manifest itself physically with physical trouble, which will then manifest itself in your legacy trouble. Akhil, welcome, Baya. Nice to see you on the live. So your thoughts, your words, and your emotions, they are absolutely important in your life. Because your thoughts, your words, and your actions, they manifest from the astral dimension, they come from the astral dimension, they come in the material dimension. From spirit, we have fallen to material. We need to rise from matter back into spirit. So your thoughts, they manifest in the physical dimension. Your words, they manifest in the physical dimension. Your actions, they manifest. You might think not. But if I can tell you this much, if you can control your thoughts, if you can watch where your thoughts are going, if you can think before you think, 99% of your problems will fall away. And guess what? During a new moon solar eclipse, this is what's happening in the subconscious mind. Even though there is a new moon, this new moon in Aries is blocking the sun's energy. And if the moon is the subconscious mind, then the sun is the conscious mind. If during the day is governed by the sun, the masculine energy, then during the night you are governed by the moon, which is your feminine energy, your emotions. So when your emotions are blocking your conscious mind, what you think is going to happen right now? Obviously, your emotions start to rule your logic. Obviously, you will start acting based on your emotions more so than any other time. And when you act in emotions, you are bound to end up in a lot of trouble. Because your emotions, they don't last forever. Your emotions, they come and go based on how your pineal gland and how stimulated it is, how you perceive information, that's how you feel. You'll see a lot of people who have ascended, who have a stimulated pineal gland, whatever information they get, it dissolves. The emotions are not erupting based on what they hear, think, or feel. Because their pineal gland is stimulated. This is the ascension, this is the Buddha, this is the awakening. That's why it's very, very important to make sure that whatever you're thinking, try and think the right thing. Try and think the positive thing. It's very easy to say and hard to do, yes. But you need to make sure it becomes an easier thing to do then and more difficult to say. So once you get into this position where it becomes an everyday thing, you won't even talk about it. It's an everyday thing for you. And that's the whole point of these lives. That's the whole point of Awareness Bobby. That's the whole point of Ashton Dabi, to teach you how to get to that state of consciousness. So what do we expect for Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries? I can safely tell you here that if you can think back, to 2023, what happened in 2023? 2023 is the theme, and whatever happened then for you, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries, there's a cutoff here. A lot of people's relationships that have started at that time, a lot of people's relationships are beginning to get cut off now, which should have started to get cut off from December. I'm not going to explain the planetary chances that happen in December, but it would have showed you, hey, wait a minute, am I happy in whatever relationship that I'm in? Am I happy, or am I just stinging myself along just to keep myself busy to be with somebody? These are things that you got to ask yourself. Your jobs, a lot of you are entering new positions this year. A lot of you are entering new jobs. A lot of you are entering new homes this year. A lot of you would have already entered new homes in the last 30 to 60 days. And this is not only with relationships with other people, this is also a relationship with yourself. How much do you know yourself? Are you at peace? Because I can tell you now, this you've got two planets, the Shiv Shakti here, which is in diminishing state. You've got both planets that are in a weaker state here. In fact, the moon is more stronger than the sun here. So it's impacting your health. It's impacting your seventh house of marriage, relationships, your fourth house of home, family roots, and your 10th house of career. So this is telling me that whatever emotions that have been built up in you, it's going to have its time of day now in these areas of your life. Your Kendra houses, And the best way to work with this, remember, you still got Saturn in your 12th house. It's all karmic. Karmic means as you sow, so shall you get. It means that life is giving you what you asked for, knowingly or unknowingly. Now, I don't like to be negative on the life. I love to be positive. But if you are Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries, if you're Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Librans, if you're Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Taurians, if you're Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Geminis, you need to talk to me private, and definitely Pisces. Talk to me privately. Here's the number 076 And this is no different from the Sagittarians, because the Sagittarians um, relationship and definitely career issues as well. But we'll get into Sagittarians just now. So the ninth house and the first house, the first house and the seventh house, the ninth house and the third house. So there's a polar opposites that's happening. You can expect to get for all Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries, you can expect to move into a better role after June this year. Right? And the best way to work with this energy is not to hold on to anything. Accept whatever is coming and look at when you hear certain news, ask yourself, what have I learned from this? Oh, Abhi, it's so difficult to ask yourself that when you're going through so much pain and suffering. How do I ask myself that? But I'm telling you this much. If you ask yourself that 10 times after you go through pain and suffering for 10 times, you will get so used to asking yourself that question that you will be looking for the beauty in chaos every time. It becomes a habit. We are habitual in nature. As human beings, we are habitual in nature. You need to create a habit. Ask yourself, what have I learned from this? Doesn't mean your relationship went through trauma or you went through trauma in a relationship that you must start hating on that person. If it wasn't for that person, you won't know what you now know. You must bow down to all the people that you've been with in a relationship because they've taught you things that you don't know. How do you get into another relationship if the other person who you've been with before never teach you all the relationship teach you all the lessons for you to be better in the next relationship? But most human beings don't heal from this. They take the garbage into the next thing. But if you can look at the beauty in the chaos, what have I learned from this? You will appreciate every single piece of life that enter your life. You will even bow down to the ants that are around you. Why? Because if you can understand its place in this world, you will even bow down to the ants. It's just that you don't understand its relevance to you, therefore you go and kill it. But if you understand its purpose in this whole system, you will even bow down to that. But we don't want to understand its purpose because we don't see return and investment from it because we are attached to instant gratification. And that's the problem. And for Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries, patience is something that you are definitely learning during the last 2 years. You've got last 6 months left with Saturn in the 12th house. If you don't meditate, if you don't surrender your thoughts, then guess what? Your thoughts will rule you. If you don't manage your thoughts will rule you. You are not your thoughts. They will rule you. Your thoughts will rule you. And the best way to manage your thoughts is to meditate. You need to dissolve your thoughts. How? Breath control or listening to music, meditative music, and allowing yourself to disintegrate into absolute nothingness. It's only from that nothingness that you disintegrate to. It's in that space, that emptiness, that darkness. It's only from that darkness that everything can be understood. This whole cosmos, birth, death, everything will be understood when there's absolute silence. This might sound a bit off, it might sound a bit absurd, but I'm telling you, when you enter that space from a state of consciousness, you will realize that everything is born from nothing. Everything is born from absolute space and goes back into it. It might sound absurd now. Yes, I know. Many years ago, I also thought that, but it's not. Whether you call the darkness or that space Shiva, it doesn't really matter. But let's move on to so fundamentally Aries. The key aspect for you over the next 6 months, or actually over the next 4 months, is to look at everything that you've went through for the last 2 years. It's a final eclipse now in your sign. You're never going to get these lessons in a very long time. If your partner don't understand you, you shouldn't hate on them, right? If your partner doesn't understand you, you should not be upset. If your partner doesn't get you, you should not be upset. As long as you get you, not everybody needs to understand what you're feeling. what you are thinking. Depending on your state of frequency or your frequency, obviously, if your frequency is here at maybe 300 hertz and somebody else's frequency is here, they can't see what you're seeing. Your experience and theirs are different. Until there's this, you understand? So it's not a good time for Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant Aries. It's not a good time for you to air your views. It's not a good time for you to force anything through. It's not a good time for you to, jump from the mountain and express yourself, especially in the workspace. Let everything unfold on its own. Just accept reality for what it is. If something has to unfold at work where you're asked to move to a different position or a lateral move, accept it. Because it's with acceptance, then reality, your sight starts to rise, or your ability to see more, you'll be able to see more from a risen state. If you're stuck here, you can't see much. If you're here, you can see everything that's happening in the front. So acceptance will allow you to rise. As a consequence of acceptance, you rise. As a consequence of truth, you rise. Once you accept reality for it, you rise. When you hold on to illusion, you're stuck down here. Illusion is always here. There's no illusion here. This frequency, there's no illusion. There's illusion down here in the hell. Here's the heaven. Heaven, hell, heel. This Muladhara dimension, that's the hell. Anyways, let's move on to Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Taurians. Governed by Venus, your ruling planet is retrograde. Now, you all have went through the Taurus Scorpio string of eclipses from 2021 right up until 2023, and that string of eclipses ended, and then we went on to the Aries Libra string of eclipses. So you've already went through your string of eclipses, but now you are impacted by this year. Also, if you can look back on 2023 March, the certain set of events that would have unfolded then, and this is purely in relationships as well. What have went on at that time, during that time? Have you learned, have you evolved from that? What does evolution means? Evolution means if you put your hand on the stove and you got burnt, now you know from experience that the stove causes you a burning sensation. That is karmic evolutionary process. You have learned not to do that. And when you do that, it means you're going against karmic evolutionary process. You're working against nature's law. You're going to get the consequence of it, which is a burning sensation. So karmic evolutionary process means you are evolving through your experience. Your experience is your guru. Your guru is your experiences. You need to use your guru to evolve your experiences. Right? So a sequence of events would have transpired from 2021 that led right up until 2023. Have you evolved from that? Have you grown out of that? Have you understood? Have you understood where you fitted in that situation? Have you taken accountability for certain things if you needed to? If not, then this will be a very difficult next 6 months for you. If you have taken accountability wholeheartedly, and if you know your development areas and if you have been working on them specifically in relationships and the self is the spirit, but also the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the sun and moon. Now we've got a new moon solar eclipse that is happening. It's going to bring in the last set of emotions which can happen specifically at night. You could have vivid dreams of the past. It could bring in the past emotions and themes that happened back then right in front of you from now till the next 6 weeks. And the planets don't care what you do with this energy. It's up to you to act out in a certain way from a point of evolution or from a point of no evolution. So you could act out in the same way and get the same result, or you can act out in a way which is of evolution period where you've learned from your development areas to bring about a more profound experience, specifically with yourself and your relationships or your business partners. Right? This is purely relationships and the self. Now, because this is the last set of eclipses that are happening in the Aries Libra string of axis, remember this is a fixed sign. You are also a fixed sign. Now, what does this mean for you? This means that generally you do not like change. Change is a very difficult thing for you to accept, and you generally do not like to be alone. It's a very difficult place for you to be alone. If you cannot be alone, it means that you are in bad company. And if you are bad company, it means that you are obviously a problem in your mind. So this period here could really stress you out, specifically in the workspace. Now you've got 10th house activity here, you've got 4th house activity here, Pisces, uh, Pisces 10th house activity here for you. So this is definitely impacting your home and career as well. So maybe in the workspace you've got more duties to do. Maybe there's meetings going on where we are a bit scared of what the outcome is going to be. Some of you might be going for disciplinary hearings. Some of you have just went and purchased a home, or you are now renting in a place and you're worried whether your job is going to be secure or not. These are the events that could unfold over the next, which have, probably would have already unfolded. But remember, I work on a 5 days rule: 5 days before the eclipse, 5 days after. Right? So definitely you're already undergoing this. If not, you've got third of till the third of April. So what do you do with this energy that's unfolding? This is a time for you to, thank you very much, Google, for your gifting. This is a time for you to ask yourself, am I happy with the way I'm working? Am I happy with what I have? Yes, I want to hold on to my job because it pays the bills, but am I happy? Now you don't need to act on your answer. Acting on your answer is another thing. You first got to accept reality. Am I happy or am I not? If you are not happy, what are you doing about it? When I was unhappy with the way I worked, I was never unhappy with anybody. I was unhappy because my energy never blended in. I never complained. What I did was I acted out. I would work on a ratio or apply for maybe 10, maybe 20 positions a day, which is 100 a week, which is 400 a month. I would work on a 10% conversion rate, which is 40 people getting back to me. I would work on 10% conversion rate, which is 4 people calling me for interviews. And out of there, I'll work on a 25% conversion rate, which is actually one getting a job. And I always got a new job within a month. And this was all executive roles. Not even in Manco roles. These are all executive, and I got it because I used mathematics. I used my common sense. And I acted. I never just wait for somebody to do something for me. I acted. It's your action that will bring a result. I just use my mathematics. You've heard me say this on my lives before. I never wait for anybody. For those of you that know me, I've never waited for anybody to do anything for me. I got up and I did. My motto was just get up and do. Don't think. I just did that. I would apply for 20 positions minimum a day. That's 100 a week. 400 a month. 40, 10%, 10% on that is 40 people reaching out to me. 40 people never reached out to me. Sometimes it will be like 12, sometimes it'll be like 8, sometimes it'll be like maybe 3. But guess what? It's 3 people that I never had before. It's 3 opportunities that I never had before. And I always got opportunities. Now, not everybody is built this way, but you can build yourself that way. You just need to come out of your comfort zone. And your comfort zone is the killer. And for all Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Taurians, your comfort zone will always kill you. It will always kill your vibe because you don't like change. So this new moon solar eclipse will force you to make changes in your life. And a lot of you are going to go through a growing up period from June. Saturn will enter your 12th house in June this year. And you're going to go through a growing up period. It can be a very rocky period for you. If you look at all Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Aries, look at what they've went through. You're going to go through that. And this is the last and final string of eclipses that's happening here, which is impacting your 12th house, aspecting your 6th house. So this is all karmic as well. Health and karmic, mental karma, your spiritual karma, and definitely your physical karma, which is the 6th house of the physical body. So you going through all 3 events. Therefore, the health would have taken a toll as well. So therefore, I say, if you are Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Taurians as well, please talk to me privately on 07633100018. There is a positive to this year. From the 14th of April, things start to open for you in a more positive way. What you do with the energy is entirely up to you, but the energy starts to settle off where you are allowed some space to breathe. Will you choose this time to breathe, or you will still choose this time to wipe your tears away? It's up to you. The universe don't care. But that's what it is. Right, let's move on to the sign governed by Mercury, the Geminis. Now, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Geminis, your ruling planet Mercury went retrograde on the 15th of March. Now, Mercury will be retrograding. Mercury will be retrograding in Pisces, which started today. Mercury is currently retrograding in Pisces. This is in your 10th house, 4th house as well. impacting your 10th house, 4th house as well. This is definitely a career matters. This is definitely home matters as well. Career and home, just like the Taurians, career and home. Also, relationships, business partnerships. It's very intense. If you look at the Aries, Taurians, and the Geminis, you've got the same theme happening around here. Relationship, home life, and career. Career is very, very strong here. It seems that there are certain events that would have unfolded in the last couple of months, last couple of days, sorry, and there's a bit of an uncertainty in the career. Maybe people could be pissing you off at work, or you are just pissed off because something is not going your way, or maybe your line manager has come to you and told you that you're not fulfilling your job description, or maybe somebody in the workspace would have picked on your productivity at work. Maybe you're not achieving your KPIs, maybe you're not exceeding your KPIs. It could happen that way there, or it could just be maybe somebody at work has decided to leave, and that was your confidant. Now you're feeling absolutely alone and you're feeling very vulnerable. But you've got Saturn in the 10th house, which is happening all right up from the time of from the 23rd of March 2023. You've got Saturn in the 10th house. A lot of you would have changed jobs that time, and a lot of you are going to clear difficulty from March 2023. Saturn in the 10th house will make you feel very uncomfortable at work so that you can force yourself to find what is truly meant for you. When I've had Saturn in my 10th house, I've worked in, I think, 7 to 9 different places in that 2.5 years. People probably thought I'm going crazy. But guess what? I've realized what I need. And what I needed was to start something on my own. Open up a recruitment agency, and I'm very happy in that. So you go through the struggle. I realized I couldn't work for anybody because from a very humble space, at that time nobody knew what I knew, and it's a dent to the ego when you've got somebody that is maybe director level, which is one above you, and they don't understand what you're saying, and they can't accept that we're not talking the same languages. But anyways, starting the 10th house, it makes you feel very uncomfortable in the workspace. It forces you out. It forces you to think out of the box. It forces you to act on the truth. And if you don't act on it, you'll be very miserable in the workspace, because that's how I felt. And what I did about it, I accepted reality for what it is, and I worked with Saturn's placement. Now, during this new moon solar eclipse, the sun's energy is blocked off here, which is in Aries, which is your 9th house, 10th house, anyways. This is a shining a light in your career. What it is that you want in your career. Are you just wanting a job with good money, or you're wanting everybody to listen to you? What it is that you want. If you do not know what you want, how will the universe match you with happiness? The universe will match you with confusion. If you are confused, the universe will give you confusion. For those of you that are on my monthly reports, you would have heard me say on your April report, you need to write down what it is that you want. If you don't write it down, or if you don't know what to write down, it means you don't know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, how do you expect the universe to give you that? It'll give you exactly confusion. So you must be proactive. You mustn't be just reactive to what's happening in the skies and what's happening within. You must be proactive. You need to act out. You need to do things. You need to come out of the comfort zone. I always say this here, complacency is the MF of everything. When you find yourself complacent, when you find yourself getting too comfortable, it's time to do something. For those of you that know me personally, I never get comfortable. I never do it. I always change. I change my sleeping patterns. I change everything. I change the clothing that I wear. I change every single thing. Why? Because comfortness, it doesn't bring me peace. Because peace is never found in the comfort. Peace is found in the uncomfortness of everything. Peace is found in the truth, the brutal truth of everything, which is the yin and the yang. The sun and the moon, the Shiva, the Shakti, it's the feminine and masculine. Right? So this is where you'll find peace. So life is asking you, the planets where they are orbiting in the skies right now, they're bringing this energy, which is difficult, onto you in the career space. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to take this into your life, this confusion, in the next year and still be confused? Or, finally sit down and say, you know what? This is a sector that I'm not comfortable in. I need to move in a different sector, and I need to put my feelers out there. I need to apply. I need to put my CVs out there. I need to load them onto the job boards. I need them load them into the 4 biggest job boards in this country, and let the agencies do the rest. All right. So that's what's happening. Also in your relationships, look at if your relationship ended. Why did it end? Am I taking the same energy back into the new relationship and expecting good results? Have I healed? What is healing? Healing is not moving on. Moving on is moving on. Healing means you have accepted whatever happened and you found peace in it. You found the beauty from the chaos. That's healing. All right? These are questions that you need to ask yourself tonight and going on to right up until the 3rd of April. Let's move on to the sign governed by the moon itself, Cancerians. Now, Cancer, polar opposite of the Capricorns, you are a cardinal sign. Your ruling planet is shining very bright right now in Aries energy, and the sun is sitting in Aries. This is a Shiv Shakti union, the feminine and masculine, but the masculine is very weak right now because the moon is covering that light. It's covering that light. This is not a time for you to make big decisions in your life. A lot of you are thinking back about past relationships. A lot of you, your past people from the past are coming back into your life. It seems that you've went through a certain kind of transit in your happening in your life with the transits of the eclipses. The planets that were eclipsed at that time or retrograding at that time, relationships would have got cut off, accidents would have happened, house issues, uh, delay in property endeavors. You've been wanting to buy a property, there's been something happening in your life, and also in the career, some of you have started new jobs, very good for you. You thought it was happy, you'll be happy, but it's not, because there's some void in your life that you're wanting to fulfill, and you're looking for it externally. Now, guess what? This is not the time for you to purchase any homes. This is not time for you to purchase any. In fact, this is not time for you. This goes for everybody. During a Mercury retrograde, Mercury governs your logic, it governs your thoughts, your emotions. Also, it governs the electronics in your home. You see that maybe your laptops are giving you problem, emails are crashing, things are breaking. Mercury governs electronics. If you buy anything during a Mercury retrograde, guess what? You will suffer from buyer's remorse. So Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Cancerians, if you do have people from your past that are coming back, ask yourself this question. What's the reason for them coming back? Are they coming back in the same vibration or they're coming back with a higher vibration? What are they coming back to give me? What am I going to give them? Am I going to give them low frequency or am I going to give them a better version of myself? Irrespective of how somebody treats you, you always give them a high vibration of you. Because the moment you give off something, you're going to get that back in return. Always remember this. Yeah? It's not something that is very nice to accept because we have egos, but I don't make the rules of how the universe works. And I also wish it wasn't like that, but that's how it is. So in silence, everything is realized. In silence, beauty is. So in silence, this month, it's a good month for you to be silent. It's a good month for you. It's a good month for you to observe everything that's happening and be more of a bystander than one of action. It's a good time for you to be more of the one in the passenger seat than the one in the driver's seat. If you are going for any surgeries, if you're planning any surgeries, any tattoos, if you're planning any well, whatever surgeries you're going to do, please do it after the 14th of April. Wait for Mercury to go direct. Wait for Venus to go direct. Venus will be direct on the 8th of April. If you work 5 days after that, it's 13th of April. And Mercury's direct energy on the 14th of April. You can book everything on the 19th of April going forward, which is only 2.5 more weeks. Anyways, it's not a long time. But look at everything that has happened from 2023 also. And this goes back into your relationships as well. With who? With your family. With your family. Are you happy with where you are? Can you see yourself the next 5 years, 10 years in this space where you'll be happy? Has something been in you that's been boiling in you or brewing in you that you have wanted to act, but you've never had the finances to, or you've never had the courage to? Well, guess what? Over the next 6 months, don't be surprised if you start making decisions to get out of that space where you are. And this is in direct relation to your living space. So a lot of Cancerians are going to be moving homes within the next 6 months. And it can happen in any way. You could go through a problem in the house, which you now have to leave. Or if you work with the energy and decide to move, it's good. But if you don't, then you can go through some kind of problem in the house which will force you to leave. Also, you can go through some kind of events in the workspace which will, your location could change, which will force you to leave. Look, it could happen in any way. But please remember to work with the orbits of the planet. Work with the planetary transitions. Work with the planetary energies. When you work against it, it becomes very difficult to live. Also, a lot of you, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Cancerians, the last 2.5 years in your relationship sector, some of you are probably still single and never found somebody. This is not a good month for you to start new relationships. Whatever you start in a Venus and Mercury retrograde, chances are it won't last you very long. Once Mercury go direct, a lot of information that you wasn't made aware of, you will become aware of it, which will shake your ground that you're on, and it will force you to leave. Or the other person might find something about who you really are, and they will leave. So therefore, don't go ahead of your time. Take things very very casually. It comes very difficult for you to handle your emotions, anyways. So if you are generally a negative person during this time here, you could feel yourself absolutely in chaos mentally. What you need to do is put your phone away and meditate. Now, you might be thinking, Abhi, everything you say, meditate. I wish it wasn't like this, but yes, meditation is the answer for it all. If you do it profoundly, consistency, you will realize it's the answer for all. Anyways, meditation is not some kind of God sitting up there. It's not a religious thing. Just do it. It's not a thinking thing. The moment you think, there's a problem. The moment you're not thinking, there's no problem. So fundamentally, we are all suffering the mind, and the mind is governed by the moon. Therefore, you've got the moon's energy along with the sun. It's not a good time for you to make any brave decisions, even in the workspace. Do not act out in the workspace. Do not give your ideas and expect anybody to applaud you. If you have that expectations, you're going to feel hurt because nobody are going to see the value in your actions this over the next 2 weeks. If they do, good for you. If they don't, also don't worry about it. Right? Don't let yourself get entangled with the product. Don't attach yourself with the outcome of anything. The reason why there's so much of misery is because we attach ourselves to the outcome of everything we do. Oh, if I do this, I'm gonna get that, and because I'm gonna get that, I'm very happy. Just do it. Enjoy the journey. Don't get attached to the outcome of it. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya. Let's move on to the sign governed by the sun, which is Leo. Now, even Leos are impacted by this here because Leos, you are governed by the sun, and now your sun, your ruling planet's energy is cut off. Obviously, when your ruling planet's energy is cut off, a lot of things that was not made, weren't aware of, will find its way to you during this time. A lot of Some of you who are involved in a lot of paperwork or procurement information, procurement stuff, or some of you have applied for home loans, some of you have purchased homes, some of you have applied for jobs, you went for the interview and nothing is coming up. You will get the news in time. In the next 7 days, you will get the news. Is it positive or negative? Well, there's no positive and negative. It all depends on your state of consciousness. What is positive for you is your state of consciousness is not a fact. So I can't tell you it's positive or negative. What I can tell you is you'll be very pleased with the results because finally you get an answer. This is not a good time for you to buy anything of significant value. This is actually not a good time for you to be changing jobs. This is not a good time for you to be hosting any important meetings. This is not a good time for you to be traveling. This is not a good time for you to do any surgery. This is not a good time for you to argue and fight with anybody. Your ruling planet's energy is being cut off. Your mind is not acting out how it normally would be. You're finding it very difficult to be positive. How can you make decisions from a negative space? When you make decisions out of emotions, naturally you are bound for disaster. Chaos will erupt. Therefore, do not make any big decisions in your life from now till the next 3.5 to 4 weeks. And why I say that, because we are waiting for Sun to move out of Aries into Taurian energy. That's when the lunar eclipse that happened on the 12th in Virgo. This is where you're coming out of that space. Sun has to change its signs, at least two signs for you to get out of that energy. So you are still stuck in that lunar full moon eclipse in Virgo energy, which is your second house of earned income. So whoever owes you money, you would have found out that it's very difficult for you to get that money. People are playing hard to get. Your clients are not paying you on time. Also, you could have been spending a lot of money over the last 3.5 to 4 months, spending more than you earn, or you could be spending on things which is not necessary for you. And now you're looking at reality. You know what? I shouldn't have bought this. I shouldn't have bought that because it's just collecting dust. Now we all go through this year in our life, but you would have went through this year more profoundly than everybody else during this transit of a full moon hitting your second house of income, aspecting your eighth house of transformation. So what do you do in the month of April? Best thing for you to do is write down where all your money is going to every month. Look at your expenses, look at your income, and start working on a budget. And most of you already do that. You are very, frustrated with your wealth, with your finances. You like to manage it to the T. But even when you do manage it to the T, you find out that, hey, wait a minute, how come nothing much is happening? It's just that where the planets are right now, everything will change into your favor. And I'll give you the month. It's from June this year. So from now till June, please make sure that you are, you're not making very big decisions in your life, especially in the month of April. In fact, this goes for everybody. Don't make big decisions in April. You cannot make big decisions when there's so much activity in sign of Pisces and there's so much of retrograde happening. And it's a very, very emotional period for everybody. So if you're going to go with a gesture to somebody, don't expect them to give you honey. If a person has poison inside them, they're going to give off poison. And then you're going to think, why is this person behaving like this? You must understand a person reacts based on what they are feeling inside. So they're going to react to you like that. And if you think that your ego is being dented and you're going to battle them and it's going to get you somewhere, it's never going to get you anywhere. In fact, you lose a lot of relationships like this here. So it's best to be more of an observer than a doer. Let's move on to the sign governed by by Mercury itself. Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Virgo is your ruling planet. Is retrograde currently right now. When your ruling planet is retrograde, a lot of you have already started businesses for yourself. A lot of you have changed jobs. Most of you are already in new businesses. Now that you've got a lunar full moon eclipse, which sign is it happening in? If I look at the area of life that is happening in your sign, or sorry, the area of life that's impacted by you, um, it's your eighth house of transformation. Whilst for Leos, it's a seventh house of marriage, partnerships, and health. It's for Virgos, it's your eighth house of sexuality and transformation, aspect in the second house of earned income. If people owe you money, please do not expect them to pay you during this time. Also, a lot of you are going through a change. Why is TikTok asking me to verify myself? Just hold on. I just need to drag my puzzle piece onto. Okay, I've got it. Now, there's something old in you that's dying off, and there's something new that's being born. There's something old in you that is dying off. What is it? Think about what happened in August, September 2021. Your trauma would have started August, September 2021, 2022, January 2022, May, July 2023, 2022, November, October, November, 2023, May, 2023, November, 2024, well, we started to pick up the pieces in 2024. Now we're in 2025. It seems that you got out of a T junction in terms of relationships. You possibly could have been seen A and B together, and then you do not know what decision to make. You've got out of that. For some of you guys, remember, this is a general report. This is not specifically related to you. Your own birth chart is your own birth chart. This is a general report. Also, you could have been in a T junction with your work. Life would have forced you through your own experiences that you've underwent. You would have left your job and you would have started your own business, not knowing where this is going to go. Because a lot of you are stuck in your head. You think about everything more than 100 times before you make a decision. You're always stuck in your head, and now you are concerned: is my business going to function? Is my job secure? Look, there's something old in you dying off. So if you haven't accepted reality, it's best for you to accept it and walk forward. You can never move into a better, more profound experience if you do not let go of the thing that is you are holding on to. I say it like this: there is nothing bringing you down in life. You are bringing yourself down by holding on to things. I don't see the gambling institution holding me into its place. I don't see the gambling institution holding my hand and telling me to gamble. I've never seen that. Not once have I ever heard Sibaya phoning me telling me to come and gamble here and play. Not once. I have went and I played there. So why must I blame that place? I'm just using it as an example. Not once the Shibin called me and told me, please come and we've never seen you here. Please come and buy my beer. Please come and buy the beer because you're going to get into trouble if you don't. They've never done. Okay, I'm just using it as an example. It's a lousy example. But we must come out of blaming everything else. We must come out of blaming everybody. We must come out of blaming things. We must learn to accept accountability that I am holding on to things. It's me. It's always been me. the mind accept reality for what it is. When you accept reality for what it is, 99% of your trauma, you'll be able to deal with it. So you cannot accept a new profound way of life if you're holding on to things. What is these things? These things are in your definitely in your relationship and your career. If you need to open a business, open it and be dedicated, be consistent, because most of you can handle somebody else's business very, very well. You can work to the best of your ability as a perfectionist as you are. You can handle another man's business very, very good. But when it comes to holding your own, you get scared. Why? Because you're stuck in your head. Well, I can't tell you how to be, but where the planets are right now, it's not going to make things very easy for you if you've never made a choice as to what you want. So you need to make a choice here. And that choice only you can make. Let's move on to the sign governed by Jupiter itself. Here you are impacted definitely from the new moon solar eclipse happening in your seventh house of marriage partnerships, impacting you big time. So, by the way, just to touch on Leos, there's a strong focus on health also for you during this time. There's a strong focus on health. There's a strong focus on legal matters, procurement matters. And for Librans, there is a strong focus on your relationships with other people. If you can look back from 2023 March, what would have happened? What are the things that you have learned from there regarding your relationships? If you don't know, it's a nice time for you to jog back your memory and look at all the things that you have went through. What have you learned from there? What are you holding on to, and what have you let go of? Only you can answer that. And this is in direct correlation to your marriage and business partnerships. Because of Saturn's placement, you're also going through the karmic events in the home life, home and children. So, what have you learned from 2023 regarding your home life and your children? Shilen, thank you very, very much for your gifting. May your pockets always remain full. What have you went through? Guys, if you are new on the channel, please make sure you are following me. Click on the bell icon. This live will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. Please make sure you subscribe. You will find the content there so that you can go back to it. But you got to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So this is hitting your fourth and fifth house. You are going through the karma here, and this is the last couple of months up until June this year. With this new moon solar eclipse, your emotions will be present, will be raw. Only you can answer yourself. Look at all the lessons that you have went through, all the experience. I do not like to use the word lessons because every moment is a lesson because you're learning something. So it's an experience. Look at all your experiences. Have you found the beauty in the chaos that you have went through? Where is the beauty? What have you learned? What are you applying? Only you know. So during this time here, it's not a good time for you to buy anything. It's not a good time for you to make any big decisions in your marriage. If you are single, do not start a new relationship. You've got the sun's energy that's eclipsed out. You cannot start a new relationship during this time. It's very detrimental to your spirit. It's very detrimental because this is bringing in people into your life that have not healed from their own relationship. You see, energy match energy. Low vibration will enter low vibration. So if you are single, you'll attract if you are single, you'll attract somebody from your past or you'll attract somebody which you haven't healed from. And sometimes you will never know what you are healed from up until you are presented with that person in your life. Therefore, do not allow any new people into your life. For the long run, it's a very good time to pay attention to the energy or the aura of the person. If you cannot read aura, close your eyes and don't think. Do not think. Allow yourself to feel. What do you feel with that image in your head? What do you feel with that person next to you? And trust that feeling. That's your instinct. And we all have that. We are all gifted. There is no one person gifted and one not. It's just that you tune into East Coast Radio, I tune into this station. But you can tune into the station. If you shut your mouth and shut your brain from working, and if you close your eyes, you will realize so much. And that's how you tune into it. Now, this is also a very, very good time for you to keep a dream journal. A lot of you will be having very vivid dreams. Also, the Aries and Librans, you are going to have very vivid dreams. With the Aries, you could be dreaming about your ex partners. A lot of you will dream about your ex partners. Some of you will also dream about your boss scolding you, or your boss giving you a hard time. Or some of you, your ex, you'll dream of your ex becoming back in your life, and you'll feel very, very good. But it has a different meaning to that. You can talk to me privately. Librans, Aries, you can talk to me privately if this has been happening in your life, and I can guide you. So this is a very good time for you to become very mindful of the things around you, the people around you. If you're not mindful with the things around you, how can you appreciate with that which you cannot see? You're busy putting your hands up to something you cannot see. Yet what you can see, you're not being mindful of its presence in your life. That don't make sense. That is not faith. That is just plain down stupidity. You can't have faith for something you cannot see, but yet what is something in front of you, you can't be grateful for it. That is not faith. A lot of people are like this. Don't be confused. Be mindful of what's in front of you. Appreciate the rain that's falling. Yeah, it flooded your house, but without the rain, how you'll get water? I bow down to the rain. That's how you be mindful, and that's how you build your relationship with your higher power, so that you can eventually see that which you cannot see as yet. Jai Shri Ram, Namah Shivaya. Jai Shri Krishna. Let's move on to the sign governed by I feel like I'm rapping, I'm spitting on bars here. Let's move on to the sign governed by um, Pluto. Scorpio is governed by Pluto. Pluto is your modern ruler. Mars is your previous ruler. So I like to include Mars and Pluto as your ruler. You've got your ruling planet sitting in Aquarius energy after 250 odd years. Now you've got a new moon solar eclipse happening. What house is it happening in? Let's calculate it together. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, your sixth house of health, legal issues. Health and legal issues are impacted here. Health, health and legal issues. This is not a time for you to start your car and go do, spinneronis, wherever. This is not a time for you to play, to play games on the road. This is not a time for you to put very dark tint on your vehicles, to take chances on the road. In most cases, you will see the ramifications of it. If the sun is blocked, if your vision is blocked, you need to look twice as hard for you to see where you're going in it. Now, you've got the new moon covering your sun, the masculine in you, in your sixth house. Do not sign documents without reading it properly. If you are looking at documents in front of you, double check it. Get somebody to read it for you. Get the understanding. Because your vision is obscured here. And you've got Saturn in the fourth house of home. So this is relating to a home. There's something happening to the home that requires some legal aid or uh, legal assistance. Something that is becoming, is going to fertilize here. Is this going to be good for you or not? Look, I cannot tell that. I'll have to look at your kundali. Your kundali is your birth chart to see exactly what's happening. But look, I don't like to be negative, but it's going to impact your health. So whatever news you hear, it's going to impact your health. The best way to work with this is to accept reality. Once again, for you, accept reality for what it is. Oh, Abhi, it's so difficult to accept. I'm so hurt by this. Yes, we are all human. It's going to hurt. If it's going to hurt, it's going to hurt. But at the same time, focus on your health. This is a time where you should pay attention to your health. Our bodies do not last forever. The body that you have now, you're going to want it 10 years from now. You're going to want your body 10 years from now. How you have it now, you're going to want it. Look after your body. Don't take chances with it. Whatever you put in your body is going to become you. Eat things that are going to bring life into you. If you are eating things that are dead, how it's going to bring life to you? Start asking yourself, what can I do to bring life into myself? What can I do to bring good health in me? Only you know how you will answer. If I have to answer you, then it becomes me telling what you should do. And it took me a long time to also accept this. But once you accept this, you will think twice about where you put your hands and what you put into your body. because you look at it and think this thing is going to become part of me. I don't want that. And you have to take accountability for it, because the body doesn't last forever. Irrespective of your race, your religion, whatever, the body doesn't last forever. We can all agree with this one simple fact. It doesn't. And during this time, life can show you it doesn't last forever, and we don't want that. Sudden head pains, heart issues, headache, heart, chest pains, and definitely the limbs. Fourth house aspect the 10th house. Fourth house is a sign of Cancer, so this is also the psyche. Because of your stress in your life, your head is going to start paining, which will give you heart palpitations, make you stress out, and then you can have a problem. Can you see how I'm reading this energy? The fourth house is the fourth sign. The fourth sign is the Cancerian, and Cancer is your moon is not functioning well. So, see a sun, moon, ascendant, Scorpios. Don't stress yourself. If your boss is telling you something, just say yes. Now, it's very difficult for you to say yes without saying something in return. You always want to say something. You always got an answer for everything. Listen, this is not a time for you to heat your block. This is a time for you to cool your block. Just focus on your health. Because if you heat your block during this time, your engine can get overheated, and then boom, something can happen. Don't take chances during this time. That's the best that I can tell you. If you want in-depth reading, please talk to me on 076 331 Let's move on to the sign governed by Mars, Jupiter. I like to include Mars here, right? Now, Sagittarians, you would have went through the biggest trauma from 2017 in your life. The biggest lessons you would have went through in your life from 2017. It seems definitely you do not like anybody to tell you what to do in your life, but you would have went through a series of transits which you are still going through, which is impacting your career. Some of you have been probably laid off work. Some of you have probably never got laid off work, but you have left your jobs with no jobs. Some of you are at home and applying for jobs. Some of you are finding it very difficult to do your job. Well, there's planets where they are. You can find that happening right now for most sun, moon, and ascendant Sagittarians. And where this new moon solar eclipse is impacting, it's impacting your fifth house of true love and relationships. So this could bring somebody from your past into your life. Probably you've had a crush on somebody, or you would have liked somebody from the past, and you probably would have gotten in contact with them. This could also bring in maybe maybe you've made a child somewhere and you don't know, you're searching for the child and you found the child. Well, good if you're looking for that. It could also work out, maybe you never know you made a child somewhere and they could all of a sudden crop up into your life. Or you could find out that your partner is pregnant or you're pregnant. Or you could find out something in relation to your children or your true love. There is some kind of news or information that you're going to hear or you would have heard that would have created a bit of unsettling energy within you. It seems that your creative skills are starting to come out. You're starting to become more creative. But at the same time, you feel that whatever you're doing, that there is some kind of blockage that is happening. Look, this is only temporary. From the 14th of April, everything starts to move forward for you. The weight is more or less. You've got a Mercury and Venus retrograde happening in your fourth house of home, family, roots. So definitely anything relating to your home life, things could be breaking at home. Maybe you've bought a home and you're waiting, the documents are not put through, and you're fighting for it, you're waiting, but nothing's happening. Fourth house aspects the 10th house. You could have sent a proposal through and you're waiting on signatories, but they're taking forever to sign the damn proposal and you're not getting your income. You could maybe somebody owes you money. A lot of you are working from home. A lot of you are working from home and you're finding it very difficult to work from home because there's so much of activity happening in the house and you can't bear with it, which is impacting your career. But this is definitely relating to somebody from the past is coming back. Not good luck and God bless you, Sagittarians. But you can consider your way opening for you positively from the 14th of April. You can write that down. Um, a lot of you are also they're also looking at wanting to have somebody new in your life during this time. You are searching for somebody in this time. If your sun, moon, and ascendant Sagittarius, please talk to me privately on 076 3310 I will tell you how to proceed because it works a bit different for you because you've got a bit of a cusp energy happening uh, depending on your on the degrees at which you are rising at Sagittarius, depending on the degree as to where your Rasi is or your moon is, it could work out two ways for you. So it could actually be of a benefit or not. So we've got to look at your Kundali, your natal chart for you to give you advices of how to proceed with this year, right? If you are undergoing this year. But this is not a time for you to release anything. So you'll see a lot of people during this time here would tell you to release something in your life. You don't need to release a thing. Why do we keep thinking that things that we must release? You need to also release all your thought patterns, all your stupid belief systems. I believe in this, I believe in that. If you believe in something, it means you don't know. You need to know. You need to become one of who knows. Knowing is a high frequency. Belief is here. Knowing is here. You need to know. Surrender your belief systems, all your thought patterns, and all the things you hold on into your head. Surrender, release it. That's what you need to release. You don't need to only release people out of your life. No. Sometimes you need to release your thought patterns, which is causing a problem in your relationships. And you don't like to be told anything because most of you, that ego is more beyond beyond your emotions. It's very difficult for you. Your ego get tempted, you learn to retaliate because this is the Mars energy that's acting out here. But I promise you, the moment you surrender your ego and accept wisdom for what it is, you'll go very, very far. So the blockage in your life is your ego. Right? Let's move on. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya. Well, the blockage in all our lives are our ego. All right? Our ego is the blockage in our life. We must stop blaming somebody doing this, that. Our ego is the problem in life. And it's written everywhere. You'll go see it in your books. It's written there. The ego. And the ego, we build it up, but we don't like to say it. Why? Because it may feel very uncomfortable to accept, accountability. And accountability is my most famous word. In your relationships, if you have a partner, if your partner is not accountable for their actions, please walk away from that relationship. I can tell you on the live now. If you have a partner that is not accountable, that chooses not to be accountable for the things, the way they behave, walk away from it. Because that is not intellect. That is the hell. You are inviting the hell into your life. Such a person will make chaos into your life. If they don't take accountability for their actions, you don't blame them, you blame yourself. Huh? And I'm a person, I'm vibrating on accountability. I take accountability for everything, and this is how I transcend. And I have also have done a lot of things in my life where I have seen no accountability not taken. I have walked away from things or I have cut off things. So I am saying you from a place of experience. Within my experience, I have delivered this. And I can tell you it's the best place to be. What? So let's move on to the sign governed by Saturn itself. Your ruling planet is sitting in your third house of travel, communication. You are learning how to communicate. From March till now, you've been going through a series of events where you are learning how to communicate with people. You have learned the most than you possibly have had in the last 5 years, but the last 2.5 years, you are learning how to communicate. Whether you are single, you are learning how to communicate to get to attract somebody, and you find it very, very challenging. You're also learning how to interact with many people at once. You're also learning how to hold on to a relationship, or you're also learning how to form a new relationship. A lot of you would have went through a string of eclipses would have impacted your finances from 2021 to 2023. You've had Saturn in the second house of earned income, delay in finances. Some of you would have lost your jobs now. Some of you would have got laid off. Some of you, your contracts would have ended. Some of you are finding it very difficult at work. And this would have happened over the last 30 to 60 days. Right? Now, where is this leaving you? What is happening here in your third house? This is not a good time for you to be traveling. You will see if you are traveling, maybe somebody would have cancelled on you. If you're going with a partner, somebody would have cancelled on you, or somebody got sick, or your plans would have changed. This is just not a safe time for you to be traveling anywhere far. When I say far, I mean, uh, you know, over the borders. This is not a good time for you to host very big meetings, which is very important to you. And you can come across with your siblings. You can get into contact with your siblings. It seems that one of your siblings need your help, or it seems that somebody in your past that has come back for your help. It definitely could be a sibling or a relationship that never ended properly. They'll come back to you, and they are coming back to you regarding financial help. This could be somebody, maybe your polar opposite, maybe somebody who's a Gemini, or definitely a Cancer Gemini, cusp here. It could be a cusp, right? Could be coming back to life needing financial help. They won't tell you this, right? Now, what I can't tell you what to do. You need to act out based on your own experiences. But what I can tell you is use your guru. You know who's your guru? Your guru is not on the frame sitting in front of you. Your guru is not in some temple or church or everywhere. Your guru is within you, your experiences. Use that experiences to make decisions. Use your intellect. Your intellect is high vibration. Use that. Use wisdom to make decisions. Do not use emotions. Emotions are all here. They bring you here. Use your intellect. Use your guru. Use your experiences, and you decide from there where you want to go. Now, if I look at your financial situation, it seems that maybe somebody owe you money, they never paid you, and you found yourself coming out of that situation. Some of you are going on interviews, maybe somebody lent you money, maybe you decided to buy something, and then you spent that money and you don't have that money anymore. And now you need to borrow money from somebody. Look, during a Mercury retrograde, it's not a good time to be buying anything. So if I was you, cancel your orders. Well, maybe don't do that, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do because then it becomes very personal to you. And this is not a personal report. This is a general report. So please forgive me on that there. Talk to me privately if you are stuck on that situation. So with regards to your spirituality, you're also going through a spiritual um, like an awakening. We are all going through a spiritual awakening. Hey guys, dear listeners, dear viewers, don't get confused when you hear people saying this person is going through a spiritual. Every one of us are going through a spiritual awakening every moment. We are learning everything all the time. We are all spirit in nature. We all are becoming awakened in nature. We choose not to be awakened because we are placing our thoughts and our energy on just the material things. Hence, we are the cause for not spiritually awakening ourselves. So we are all going through a spiritual awakening every moment. It's just we are choosing not to be awakened by attaching our Shakti or our focus on whatever it is. I hope it makes sense to you. Right? So the moment you say somebody says something, or you are going through an awakening, personally you are going through it, you must know, yes, they are going through it more than anybody else, but we are all going through it at every given time. It's just that based on where the planet is, they are having a much, much more intense period, like the Aquarians. You're having a very intense period right now. So let's go on to the sign governed by Saturn as well, and Uranus is the old ruler. Saturn and Uranus. Um, you are all going through a spiritual awakening, right? More profoundly than any other sign because of Pluto's transit here. You've got a a new moon solar eclipse happening in your third house of travel. This is also not a good time for you to be traveling. This is not a good time for you to be signing up for any new studies or signing up to any institution to learn to study. This is not a good time for you to also host important meetings. This is a good time for you to interact with whoever you have been interacting with and try to build your relationships up. You are definitely impacted by what happened 2023 in March. There's a large string of eclipses that's happening in the Aries Libran axis, asking you as well, have you learned from whatever you went through? Whatever you are holding on to, have you evolved from it? Um, all parties involved, have they learned from it? Where are you? This is also impacting the third house. Third house is regarding your siblings. Um, maybe one of your siblings might reach out to you as well, requesting your help. Requesting your help. Maybe this could be, is this a financial help? Well, this is not a financial help. This is just guidance. This could be also somebody from your past that could come back in your life. This is also in relationships. Somebody from the past could come back requesting some kind of guidance or to air something that has never been closed properly. Look at the Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde happening in your second house of income, aspect in the eighth of transformation. It seems that somebody also is coming through for financial help. Eighth house is a house of sexuality. Um, Look, this could also mean that there's something old in you that's dying for something new to be born. And this is going to happen in your second house of earn income. So it seems that you will learn your biggest lessons here, Aquarians, with relation to your home, property, finance. There's something happening in your area of your life regarding finances. You learn the biggest lessons here, whatever it is. This is how I'm reading it. Now, even though the sun's energy is limited on your third house, it's not a good time for you to go and uh, look at travel arrangements and start booking flights and booking all of that. You cannot think properly regarding this year. You cannot comprehend much this time. Your head will be obscured. It'll be difficult. You'll have all sorts of issues, all sorts of back and forth moments. This would have happened 5 days ago, and also definitely happening in the next 8 days. So it's going to impact you very, very greatly. So over the next 3 to 6 weeks, what you can expect is with Sun's energy moving into Taurus over the next 4 weeks, what you can expect is whatever issues you are going to go through now regarding your finances, you can expect that everything will wear off towards the 18th to the 22nd of April. Things start to move more positive for you. Not to say that this is not a positive time for you. Positive time is all the time, and negative time is all the time. It all depends what you attach to in consciousness. So this is a good time for you to meditate. And you might be thinking, oh, Abhi, meditation, I can't do it. Just do it. Don't think, just do the damn thing. Just go onto your YouTube channel, go on to Astro In with Abhi, subscribe to my channel, go on to the podcast of how to meditate. I teach you how to meditate. Yes, you can never teach anybody how to meditate. That is true. But you can teach somebody on the basics of it so that they can find their own way. And I talk about meditation here. I talk about transcendental state of consciousness. I talk about rising. I talk about the low frequency, the high frequency. I talk about moving from low to high. All the content is there. You will find everything. All the tools are there on Ashton this awareness Pahabi, Ashton bringing in both together oneness in astrology and spirituality. I teach you all of that. So go on to it. Ashton it's free, by the way. Anyway, let's move on to the last sign of the zodiac, governed by Neptune, the dreamy planet. We've got so much activity happening in Piscean energy. It's not even funny. Now you've got so much activity happening in your second house of earned income. What's happening in your workspace? Over the last 6 weeks, you have learned that something happened in the workspace. You wasn't too happy with it, and things got ironed out, and you're quite fine. Over the last 3.5 to 5 years, you've been going through. A lot of you would have been caught. A lot of you would have got divorced. A lot of you were in hospital. You've been hospitalized. You've been through health issues. Now you're going through health issues. Still, till June this year, health issue impacted. You've got so much activity happening in the second house aspect, in the eighth house of transformation. Also, in the first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house. Every part of your life is impacted here. Look, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Piscean. When there is so much of activity, celestial activity happening in your Kendra houses, also your second and eighth of transformation, um, it's safe to say that you also, along with the Virgos, this is not a time for you to be doing anything. This is not a time for you to be moving left, neither should you move right. When there is so much of chaos in the sea, if you steer left, you'll fall down. If you steer right, you'll fall down. Wait for the calmness to come, and the calmness will come around the 14th of April. Now, a lot of you, your health would have been impacted from early this year, and a lot of you would have figured out that, you know what, aging is a reality. If you never went through it, now you're realizing aging is a reality. And this is also with Aquarians, depending on your degrees at which you are. If you're a cusp, if you're a third decan Aquarius or the first decan Pisces, you are feeling this year. Third decan Aquarius is anybody born from the 15th of February onwards, you're a third decan Pisces. So you would have also been feeling aging is a reality, and people would have been making you aware that, you know what, you're getting old and you need to take care of your health. Even if it's not people, your own body will remind you the sluggish nature, the ability to do things. You have to work twice as hard to get things done. This is reality. What are you doing about it to make sure you are feeling light again? When your body is heavy, it means your mind is holding so much of trauma. You need to release that, and you need to feed your body with light food. What is light food? Light food is food that is coming directly from the sun, which is your plants and vegetables, fruit. Eat more of that, you will feel light, you will feel more energized. I promise you can do that. This is also not a good time for you to invest in any stock file online trading, not a good time for you to make any big decisions regarding your finances at all. This is not a good time for you to form any business partnerships, any marriage legalizing. This is not a good time for you to start any new relationship. This is not good time for you to start planning for kids. This is not a good time for you to do all of that. It's not a good time for you to plan any surgeries, any tattoos. You will suffer from remorse, especially if you are doing any kind of cosmetic surgery to your body. This is a very, very good time, though, to let go of everything that is holding you down in your head. You need to write down what you want in your life and write down what you are doing about it. If you write down what you want in your life and you don't have anything to write down what you're doing about it, who can you blame? Can you blame the man sitting upstairs? No, you blame you sitting right here. That is accountability. For God helps those that helps themselves. When you are helping yourself, you are using the God which you are in you. All right. So I'm pretty much done. All sun, moon, and ascendant signs. Thank you very, very much, Money, and all those who have gifted me. Thank you for all the positive comments that you have given me on WhatsApp, my reviews. Thank you so much for subscribing on my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please do so. All my content is there. Even this content will be saved there. You can go listen to it. If you are new on the channel, please follow me. Click on the bell icon. You will get a notification every time I go live. If you want a 5-year and 10-year report on finances and your career, book a D2, D10 session. If you're confused about marriage life, when you're going to get married, what's happening in your marriage life, book an Avamsa option. If you want a reading on all areas of your life, book option number 1 on the PDF. If you've got kids and they don't know what to study, book a D3, D9. The divisional chart of the third house of travel, communication, higher studies, aspect in the ninth house of higher studies, higher learning, travel. This is also direct relation with your nakshatra. Right? You do know the 7-month rule and 9-month rules on your balancings. I hope you have written that down. You can always talk to me privately on that there. And when I say privately, here's my WhatsApp number 07633101118. Nirmalan, thank you all for all your help as well. Everybody, good night to you. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch you on my live again soon. Jai Shri Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Shri Krishna. Hari Bol. Goodbye.